rumble of the discourse. We've taken an abandoned concrete factory at the margins of the declining American empire and repurposed it into a battleground where 19 separate entities from across the political spectrum enter the discourse one by one and do battle to determine who controls the narrative force of the discourse. I hope you'll join me, your Southern Gothic futurist host Dirk God Raven Mack, for each and every episode of Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back here at our abandoned concrete factory at the edge of town for another Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. It's your boy Dirk God Raven Mack. Running a little bit late this week, but you know what? It's Monday somewhere, and when you're dealing with the Discourse, it feels like it's Monday every day. We are here in week 5 of our 7-week series. Most of y'all probably should know how this works, but if you don't, read the damn screen, you can figure it out. We got people from across the political spectrum doing battle, and they're trying to crown a champion of the discourse. 7 weeks it takes us to do this. Each series is a 7-week series. We are in week 5. Next week will be week 6. That'll be their last chance to accumulate points to come out for our 7th week finale. Crown the champion of the discourse. As always, our main sponsorship is the Friends of Catbird. They are ongoing sponsors. So that brings us to What's the Word? Catbird. Catbird's a dude who is a local dude. And I was talking to him outside today, and I said, "What's the word, Catbird?" And he said, "Let the flea market decide." And I said, "You mean free market?" And Catbird was like, "Hell no." Catbird went on to explain that free market tends to be expensive. Everything's damn expensive now. Groceries are expensive. He said used trucks are expensive. His truck insurance is expensive. You can't get nothing for cheap. So whatever the free market is, it ain't working out because it just keeps messing things up. But Catbird said there used to be a real good flea market, and he loved it because you could get produce there, you could get clothes there, you could get parts for your car, you could get power tools, you could get whatever you wanted pretty much. And the cool thing about the flea market was if you were an asshole or you didn't have anything nobody wanted, you just didn't show up. You just stopped being there. It wasn't real complicated. It was just a big giant ass flea market. But of course they don't let nobody have a flea market in that building anymore because somebody's trying to renovate it and turn it into a microbrewery or some shit like that. But Catbird said, what's the word, Catbird, is let the flea market decide. We also had additional sponsorship this week from Brother Bullfrog of Pandemonium Air. Shout out to Brother Bullfrog. Once got fined $1 for punching a neo-Nazi. So I got much love for Brother Bullfrog. Appreciate the support. Let's look at our standings. We are 4 weeks into this bad boy. You can see Mike Johnson's at the top. Homeless guy, President Biden, independent centrist, and free thinker are right there. Both of them won one of our first 4 weeks. Reply guy, Chase Oliver, who won last week, libertarian candidate. The bootlicker on that second screen of that leaderboard, we got Donald Trump, John Fetterman, RFK Jr., Samuel Alito, the wealthy leftist, Bernie Sanders, Senator Tom Cotton, and then a whole bunch of others at that 3 point. So with that being said, let's go on up to the ring and see what happens this week. See if folks get any more extra points coming into this thing. And as you can see, our referees, once again, as usual, are the lady cop and the police state. And our first competitor coming out, RFK Jr., so he will be making the start here to start this event. He's our candidate. He's our presidential candidate, third-party candidate, talking about how he wants to get on the ballot and being held at a debate. But he's our first competitor tonight, and our second one is Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci. We haven't heard from old Fauci in a while, but he is testifying this week before a Republican panel in Congress. Dr. Fauci, man, I think one of the wackest things of the last decade is people actually saying Fauci, ouchie. Like, why is culture so damn immature now? But anyways, RFK Jr. and Dr. Fauci are going at it. Fauci got those gloves on, ready to issue a vaccination. RFK Jr. with the quick pin, only a 1 count. So Fauci and Kennedy going at it here. Of course, their article came out this past week talking about the origins of COVID and how it was likely in a lab and not just some random bat in a market, which has always been what people have expected. It had to come from a lab. But I also love the dissonance of the right, where they say COVID is not real, but then they also want to claim that Fauci got it started in a lab. So which one is it? Is it not real, or is it from a lab? Hey, and speaking of conspiracists, we haven't seen this guy in a while. Been missing for a few seasons. Here comes Alex Jones, InfoWars. He's got that InfoWars camera. He dropped it before he got in. Alex Jones, he competed in some of our earlier seasons, but this is the first we've seen him in this spring 2024 season. Pretty much shadow banned, lost his platforms in a lot of ways, but he's still out there, man. Oh, man, and he just slams Fauci. That's got to be... No, Fauci kicks out. Fauci kicks out. Talking to a homie of mine the other day, we were sitting on the porch and we were talking about how, and don't hold this against me because this is a decade ago, well over a decade, 2 decades ago. Alex Jones used to be fun when the conspiracies weren't like destroying the world, Oh boy, here comes J.D. Vance, my buddy. I got to eliminate him last week, and that was a proud moment in my life. I am staying in the booth. Ow, and Fauci just gave it up to Alex Jones, so Fauci is out. So Fauci got his own ouchie there, and he is gone. J.D. Vance, my arch nemesis, the anti-Appalachian, who claims to be Appalachian. He even had that movie done on Netflix that Opie made. That made me so sad to see Opie all grown up doing J.D. Vance movies. But we got Alex Jones, and he's going for a pin on RFK Jr. with a kick out. And we're going to get a buzzer, and coming to join these three is going to be Hunter Biden, the president's son. So Hunter Biden, and there's a pin on J.D. Vance, and Alex Jones gets the pin on J.D. Vance, so Vance is gone. Hunter Biden, not exactly a political figure, but brought into the discourse pretty regularly. Of course, he's got gun charges he's facing this weekend. And he talk about trumped up charges. Now they get gun charges. I don't know if you're the type person that knows felons or not, but if you get charged with a felony, you'll get charged with committing a felony with a gun, which is an additional felony, and they sort of stack the felonies on you pretty quickly. But anyways, once you're in that system, it's pretty hard to get a gun. You're having to do it illegally after that. But Hunter Biden's case, and here comes his pops, President Biden, to join him. Hunter Biden's case is pretty much that he answered no to if he was doing drugs or addicted to drugs on his gun application. Now, who is addicted to drugs is going to say they're addicted to drugs on any type of form? It's a real weird case Hunter Biden is having, but if he gets off, then you're going to hear a lot of people say that Trump was convicted and Hunter Biden got off. I got a feeling they might end up convicting him just to prove a point. Nonetheless, we got Hunter Biden, President Biden, RFK Jr., and Alex Jones. We get a buzzer, and coming to join them, Elise Stefanik. Elise Stefanik, the New York Congresswoman, of course, one of these people who, in reaction to Trump's verdict last week, guilty on 34 felonies, and Elise Stefanik going for the pin on RFK Jr. And she eliminates RFK Jr. Looked like he might have kicked out, but the police state countered it. So RFK Jr. is gone. Stefanik and many others used that upside-down American flag. It's weird. I had a friend remind me that I had forgotten this, but Alex Jones just eliminated Elise Stefanik as well. So Alex Jones is wrecking house, and he's now in there with the Bidens, Elder and Jr. And then President Biden drop kicks Alex Jones over the top rope, but can't get him out. Here comes Mitt Romney. Alex Jones still in that apron, but he gets back in. But anyways, with the upside-down American flag thing a lot of these politicians were doing, a friend of mine reminded me that was the American Indian movement's symbol of protest back in the 60s and 70s, and it's sort of weird to see these asshat Republican politicians co-opt that. But hey, we live in pretty reactionary, simplistic times. Now, President Biden going after Hunter there a few times, setting that ladder up, maybe trying to eliminate him from the discourse so as not to sully him. Coming out to join these four, it's going to be the 3%er. So as we move towards this next election, and we don't know when, the Bidens are still fighting, and Hunter getting some kicks on Pops there. The 3%er immediately going after Alex Jones. as we get to this next election, and there's a pin on Alex Jones. In the quick count, 3%er gets Alex Jones taken out, so he's gone. But with the 3%er out there, realize that there are people who are willing to try to overthrow the government, but the thing is, a lot of them don't have the heart for it. Like, they have all these guns, but they don't really have the heart to start shooting people. I don't think they realize that's part of it. And the other side of that is not just the people who have the guns, it's these little weasels like Stephen Miller, who just came out. All these little policy weasels that have been sharpening their pencils and just getting ready to just destroy shit if Trump gets elected again. Like, Stephen Miller was pretty effective little weasel Nazi back in the first term, and now he's had 4 years just to, like, analyze law books and figure out how they're going to dismantle all this shit. So we've got Hunter Biden, President Biden, Utah Senator Mitt Romney, the 3%er, and little weasel Stephen Miller, who goes over the top rope, and then Biden gives him a kick but does not eliminate him. Coming out to join these guys, Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice. Last week we saw Samuel Alito. Clarence Thomas is out here this week. Presidential election could be decided by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court, of course, seems more partisan than ever. And there's a pin on Stephen Miller, only on one count, though. And these Supreme Court justices, man, their wives, that's a wacky dinner party they must be having. And Thomas slams Miller and eliminates the young man. Well, he's not even young. He's an older guy. Clarence Thomas takes out Stephen Miller. And we got a buzzer. And Kyla Scanlon tangles a Stephen Miller in the aisle there. So Kyla Scanlon is the woman pundit, writer, strategist who coined the term vibe session. So this is the term that people use to sort of diminish the fact that the people like me feel like we're broke, man. Groceries are expensive. Like Cat Burr was saying, everything is expensive. Rent's expensive. Nothing like if you live week to week, check to check, everything's too expensive. But these folks who have access to other wealth, and the 3%er got pinned there by Mitt Romney. These folks that have access to other wealth and actually think the stock market or the economic signals are what makes the economy, they say it's still good. And yeah, it is probably good for people up there that aren't living check to check and week to week, but for most of us, it's pretty crappy. It's not a vibe session, man. Shit is fucked. I'm broke, man. And we had a buzzer, and Jill Stein, third-party Green Party candidate, came out and climbed a ladder and fell. One of those meritocracy ladders. That's what those 7 ladders are around the ring, meritocracy ladders. But Jill Stein, Chase Oliver, Libertarian third-party candidate, won last week. So Jill Stein probably trying to ride that third-party momentum and catch some momentum here this week. And Cornel West right behind her. So we have another third-party candidate. So getting a little third-party action into the discourse here in Week 5 of our Spring 2024 series. And both Bidens are still out there. Mitt Romney's still out there. Clarence Thomas. Kyla Scanlon. President Biden holding his knee. Jill Stein. Mitt Romney over the top rope. Didn't get knocked off the apron, though. He got back in. Jill Stein is on him. Clarence Thomas with a backhand on Cornel West and Jill Stein. Mitt Romney with a backbreaker on Jill Stein. Now we get a buzzer, and here comes Steve Bannon. So a lot of talk about being worried about a second Trump presidency, but think about the president maker and Steve Bannon, and these guys aren't limited by term limits. These Steve Bannon types, Koch brothers, others, they're out here and they're going to be trying to tear things up. And Clarence Thomas just threw Kyla Scanlon across the ring and ended the vibe session. And now Thomas is going for a pin on Hunter Biden, and that's back-to-back eliminations by Clarence Thomas pretty quickly. And it looks like he went going for another one on Mitt Romney. And Romney kicked out. Looked like that might have been 3, but they call it a kick out. And coming out to join him is Elon Musk. the idiot billionaire who owns X, continually saying the stupidest shit you could possibly imagine. And there's a pin on the far side. Cornel West trying to pin President Biden. Steve Bannon's been bloodied in there. He's a bloody mess. Cornel West and Clarence Thomas still kind of facing off on each other. Elon Musk is just a devastating neckbreaker by Mitt Romney, and Jill Stein jumps on him and pins Elon Musk. So short night for Elon Musk. He didn't get much accomplished out here this week, which is par for the course for Elon. He usually doesn't get much accomplished. He can maybe buy a win, but... And Mitt Romney was pinned by Cornel West there as the wealthy leftist came out. So Mitt Romney is gone. And Mitt Romney is a bloody mess in there too. So it looks like by my count we have 6 folks in here. President Biden is still out there. Jill Stein and Cornel West, Clarence Thomas, Steve Bannon, and the wealthy leftist. Clarence Thomas and Cornel West keep going at each other. And there's a bulldog on Cornel West by Clarence Thomas. We get a buzzer, and coming out to join these 6 is going to be Pete Bourgeoisie. Pete Bourgeoisie, expect to see him. President Biden was pinned in there. I think that might have been Bannon who pinned him. But it's June. That means it's Pride Month, so expect the Raytheon Pride logos and expect Pete Bourgeoisie to be telling you need to vote for Trump. Pete Bourgeoisie just eliminated Jill Stein, so he's doing his job. So we're down to 5 in the ring. We still got plenty to come out, I believe. And there's a pin attempt on Clarence Thomas by Steve Bannon. And here comes MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm devastated to inform you that the local congressional election, we have one crackpot who Trump had endorsed, but now Trump has endorsed an even crackier crackpot. And the crackier crackpot, well, it's funny because people have signs up with both of these guys with Trump. I don't think people know which one to vote for. But anyways, the kookier one of the two, the crazier one, is having an event with MTG this week. So MTG will be in my local area, which is sort of disheartening and disgusting. So we've got 6 folks in there and get a buzzer, and we're going to have a 7th come join them. And it looks like it's going to be Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina, aspiring vice presidential candidate for Donald Trump, Tim Scott. And he puts another one of those meritocracy ladders in the ring. Clarence Thomas screamed there. He was hurting. Bourgeoisie grabs that ankle and twists it. And Bourgeoisie, Pete Bourgeoisie, Secretary of Electric Bikes, eliminates Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas is fighting with the police state currently. We've got a buzzer, and Vice President Kamala Harris comes out. You know, vice presidents are always somewhat unseen, but Kamala Harris is really unseen, which is weird because President Biden has probably seen a little too much. I think if she was a better candidate, she would be picking up some of this slack, taking a little bit of the spotlight, but she's just riding the background. I guess that's what a vice president's supposed to do. And Cornel West going for the pin on MTG, only a 2 count though. And then Cornel West over the top rope, and I think that was a kick from Kamala Harris that got it. We'll have to, producer Bob Dabalina, we'll have to check the tape on that one. And Steve Bannon got pinned in there by MTG, and we had the immigrant come out. So a lot of things going on all at once. So we've got the wealthy leftist is still out here. Pete Bourgeoisie is still out here. MTG, Senator Tim Scott, Vice President Kamala Harris, and the immigrants just came out. And I believe by my count we still have 6 or 7 people left to come out. Of course, our final 4 will get bonus points. 3 for 4th, 5 for third, 7 for second, 10 for winning. And coming to join the gang out here. Who's it? It's the Blue Sky Communist. That Blue Sky Communist is coming out. Have we had a new social media form come out? Have we gotten tired of Blue Sky yet? Is there a new savior that's going to be the new X? I see Threads suggested to me on my Instagram feed, but I am not joining one social media forum from another. Like, if they're the same company, what the hell, man? And there's a pin on MTG by the Wealthy Leftist, but he only gets a 2 count. We've got bodies everywhere. And Kamala Harris got tossed. I think the immigrant threw her out. Kamala Harris got tossed, and AOC comes out. New York Congresswoman, progressive voice in Congress. Although with as right as things are moving, what does that even mean? There's Biden announcing lack of asylum, stiffer immigration rules this week. I'm not really sure what progressive even means in our current political landscape. Maybe that you don't wrap the border in barbed wire. But they're probably still doing that. And there's a pin on the immigrant, 1 count on MTG. And we got a buzzer, and we're going to have 8 out here now. 8 folks is Senator John Fetterman. Big John Fetterman from Pennsylvania comes out. Of course, he was on that leaderboard, on that second page of the leaderboard. Devastating move on Pete Bourgeoisie by Tim Scott. AOC tried to sneak in and get the pin, but Tim Scott took it. And yeah, Pete Bourgeoisie is eliminated, so he's gone. Senator Tim Scott took out Pete Bourgeoisie. And there's a quick pin on AOC by MTG, and it looked like AOC may have kicked out, but the lady cop counted at 3. So a little beneficial count there for MTG. And now we've got a buzzer. And I'm sorry, we've only got 2 people left coming out. This is DA Alvin Bragg. New York DA, of course, got that 34 felony convictions on Donald Trump last week. Finally gave the man some accountability. Alvin Bragg out here. He is in the discourse. So we've got 7 folks out here with 1 to come. Alvin Bragg almost pinned by MTG right there, right away. Of course, our final 4 will get bonus points. We got 7 out there. We get a buzzer, and our last competitor coming out. Well, you knew he was going to be in the discourse this week because he's been heavy in it, man. Donald Trump, Republican candidate, presumed Donald Trump. He is out here joining these 7. Now there's 8. So we have our final 8 tonight, week 5. Oh, man, there's a devastating move on the Wealthy Leftist. Looked like Fetterman and Trump put the move on him, but then the Blue Sky Communist got the pin. So we are down to 7. And Fetterman immediately gets a pin on the Blue Sky Communist. So he is gone. So we are down to 6, it looks like. And actually the immigrant got pinned in there as well while that was going on. I didn't see who pinned it because I saw Fetterman pinning the Blue Sky Communist, but the immigrant got pinned at the same time. So we're down to 6. Our final 6 are Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tim Scott, the immigrant, John Fetterman, and Alvin Bragg and Donald Trump, who are going at it. Donald Trump has got Alvin Bragg trying to get some vengeance on this New York DA. He's got him locked in over there, and Bragg getting some shots in as well. These are our final 6. Final 4 will get bonus points. And Fetterman with a devastating move on MTG, but he can't get the pin. Fetterman and Trump going at it now. Sorry, my count was wrong, folks. There's 5 folks left, so next person eliminated means the final 4 will get those bonus points. So, oh, man. And Tim Scott just dropped Alvin Bragg, but then Trump pins Tim Scott. Why wouldn't Trump go for Alvin Bragg? Why did he go for Tim Scott? Alvin Bragg was there for the pinning, and Trump covered Tim Scott. Now Fetterman and Scott are over in the corner, and Trump now goes for Alvin Bragg. And there's a pin on MTG by Alvin Bragg, and Trump actually kicked her. So Trump kicks MTG, and Alvin Bragg gets the point for the elimination. 3 bonus points for Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she finishes 4th. So we are left with John Fetterman, New York DA, Alvin Bragg, and presidential candidate and former president Donald Trump. Right now, Trump and Fetterman locked up in a test of strength. Bragg just kind of hanging back. Fetterman with a spin kick on everybody. He loves that spin kick, and there's another one for Alvin Bragg, and that might be it for Bragg. That's 1. No, just a 1 count. And Trump and Fetterman combine on Bragg, but then they go at each other. Fetterman with some punches on Trump and bloodies Trump. Trump is busted open. Only a 2 count. Trump kicks out. And now they're locked up again, and Trump flips him. Trump is a bloody mess out there. Alvin Bragg sort of lost and staggering. And Fetterman getting into it with the police station. Trump nails him with a clothesline and gets the pin, and that's a count on Fetterman. So Fetterman's gone. So now it is Trump and DA Alvin Bragg, our final 2. They can settle the score right here in the discourse. Monday Night Rumble, the discourse. Oh, man, Trump with some punches on Bragg right away. Briefcase to the knee. Kick by Bragg. Police state in the background setting up one of those meritocracy ladders. Bragg is just laying it on Trump. Lets him get up, though. They lock up. Snapmare by Trump. Nice back punch by Alvin Bragg, and he picks up Trump into the ropes. He picks him in a spine breaker and goes for the pin. Lady Cop comes in for the count, and that is 3, man. That is it. Alvin Bragg owns Donald Trump one more time, man. So Donald Trump might be the man on the national stage, but Alvin Bragg has given him a loss both last week in the court of law and here on this. Let's see this replay. You have Bragg throwing Trump into the ropes, and then that spine breaker down goes for the pin. Lady Cop gives him the 1, 2, 3. Alvin Bragg getting the win. Might be good for him now, man, but I think he's going to regret all this Donald Trump stuff one day, especially if this man gets reelected and becomes a vindictive overlord that he wants to be. Anyways, tonight's results, you can see Alvin Bragg at the top, 13 points, eliminated 3 people and got those bonus points. Donald Trump in second with 9, John Fetterman with 6, MTG with 5, Alex Jones and Clarence Thomas both eliminated 3 people each. What a pair that is. And Pete Bourgeoisie there with 2. Let's see our updated standings after 5 of 7 events. You got Mike Johnson with 21. Donald Trump moves into second place with 18 points. A homeless guy and President Biden are there at 15. Independent centrist and the free thinker at 14. Reply guy, Fetterman, Alvin Bragg right there. Chase Oliver, last week's winner, at 12 points. Let's see that next page, Bob. The bootlicker with 11. And then we got a big drop-off to go down to 6 points with RFK Jr., Samuel Alito, the wealthy leftist, MTG, Bernie Sanders with 5, Tom Cotton with 4. And you see 9 others and 13 others with 3 and 2. Next week's week 6. So as is usual for our 7-week series, folks that are on the borders of qualifying for our 7-week finale will come out next week. So that's probably going to be all those folks with 2 and 3 points. That's going to be the bulk of our field next week as they try to get points to make the finale and to jockey their way further up into the standings. Because again, they come out in reverse order. So whoever's got the most points at the end of next week will be the last person out on our 7th week. As always, this is supported by my Southern Gothic Futurist Patreon. What is a Patreon? Well, Patreon is where you just pay sort of a subscription to the content and support an artist. Sometimes you don't get content. I know some Patreons I support where I'm just supporting the artist to do what they do. But with mine, you get plenty of content, man. I drop a lot of content. And I actually hate that term content. I'm not a content machine. I'm just a person doing wacky, weird shit out here in rural VA. But Southern Gothic Futurism is the philosophical branding I have put upon my artistic processes and my Patreon is how you can support it. So I suggest you click that button in the link. Click that link in the description and go ahead and sign up and see what you can get. I got a new zine coming out, so if you do certain levels, you'll get a copy of that zine. But I've talked enough, and I've had enough, and the discourse makes me sick, and I'm tired, and I'm ready to head on home. But I'm going to say what's up to Catbird on my way out, and I will say what's up to y'all next week. And until then, salam.